In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how we can solve inequalities by using multiplication and division. And in the previous video where we solved inequalities by using addition or subtraction, these will both be single-step equations. The only difference, though, is we have to remember if we multiply or divide by a negative number, we have to flip the sign. Okay, so in our first problem, we have 3a is less than or equal to 15. So again, if we think of this problem as an equation, we can use the same operations that we normally would. So in this example, we would divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. Now, I do not flip the sign because I divided by a positive number. So this says a is less than or equal to 5. So now, when I go to graph my solution, a is less than or equal to 5. So let's go one beyond that. So 6, 5, 4, and so on. I'm counting down because a is less than that. So a is less than or equal to positive 5. So we're going to put a solid circle on 5 because it's less than or equal to, and then we're going to draw the line to the left. Okay? Next, g divided by negative 2 is greater than 6. So let me go ahead and rewrite it. So g over negative 2 is greater than 6. So if I can think about this, this is really like 1 over negative 2. So I can multiply by the inverse, or excuse me, I can multiply by the reciprocal on both sides. Well, what happens here is the negative 2's end up canceling each other out into 1's. So really I'm left with g on this left side. And if I make this a fraction, 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. Now, since I multiplied by a negative number, in this case negative 2, my inequality must flip. So it's not g is greater than negative 12 as it was originally in the problem. It's going to be less than because I multiplied by a negative number. So now when I go to graph, g is less than negative 12. So that means let's put negative 11 and then we'll do negative 12, and we're going to decrease because it is less than negative 12. So again, it's less than, so it's going to be an open circle and it's going to go to the left. Now in my last problem, our variable's on the right side. That's okay, we can still solve it like we normally would, but we may have to change it at the end. So in this example, I have a negative 9 times h. So I'm going to want to divide by this negative 9 here on both sides. So this over here is going to become 1, so I'm left with h, and then 27 divided by negative 9 is a negative 3. Now I divided by a negative number, so my inequality must change. So it's not less than, it's going to be greater than. So this says negative 3 is greater than h. And if you remember in the last few videos, I want to change it so my variable's first. So actually it says h is less than negative 3. And if you notice, my inequality puts it right back to the beginning of what it was. Well, this can happen because we divided by a negative, but it won't always happen, so be careful. Don't always assume that it will. So now I'm going to graph it. And since h is less than negative 3, we'll go negative 2, then we'll start to decrease it here. Since it's less than, it's going to keep getting more and more negative. So h is less than negative 3, therefore it's going to be an open circle and it points to the left. That's it. So the thing you have to remember is when we multiply or divide by a negative number, you must flip the sign. Flip the inequality symbol. That's the biggest thing you have to remember. It doesn't matter if you add or subtract, but if you multiply or divide.